Hey guys, hope everything is going well here. Alrighty, so I wanted to get into this one video about private equity getting into sports cards, specifically wax. And before I get into this video, I wanted to give credit to Filmington who messaged me about this, and he also told me to give attribution to Short Slabs. So just wanted to give them credit for this topic here. And this is talking about this one firm. They're called Attic Investments. Now, I don't have any money invested in them. Just as a disclosure, I just found this quite interesting. So I did know there was private equity flowing into the market. I did know there are funds, there's fractionals. I understand all of that. Now, specifically, I didn't even hear this. Okay, so I'm glad Phil sent this to me. Let's look at this article from February 8th, 2020, right before the pandemic. So they got in at the right time. Okay. Modern wax fund lets serious investors get into cards. Serious investors wanting to get into the card world have a new option. It's Modern Wax Fund, which is a first of its kind private equity fund that is focused on trading cards. So to close on February 28th, the fund is a creation of Attic Investments and Blowout Cards. They have packaged more than $3 million in unopened products, some of the rarest and most desired basketball, football, and other cards from the modern era into the project. And then it talks about, hey, you need $25,000 to invest in it. That was as of a few years ago. And it will own more than 9,000 boxes. It has a bunch of inventory they had purchased. And they said that the assets are under contract at a price below current market value. All right. And then you could go on their website. This is quite interesting here. Okay. So the debate was, hey, look, private equity getting into this market. Is that good for the hobby? Is it not? Once again, you saw all this pump up, all this pumping into the market. Yeah, we're getting to the age where we can afford these products, but also you had, all this monopoly money come into the system, right? And this was on Blowout. So some of the comments, let's look at these, right? So basically, Blowout securitized their inventory and sold half of it to investors via a private equity fund. BO owned half of the fund, presumably giving them control of it. The original assets were sold off. Okay, I'm just reading these comments. If there's anything wrong with what's going on here, let me know. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're from the industry, whatever it is, right? This is what people are speculating. And it's based on some of the research as well. The original assets were sold off at 250, 300%. The original cost way before they're scheduled to. This means BO made 2.5 million to $3 million profit on the 9,000 boxes and sets they sold, not including the profit they have made selling them to the fund in the first place. All right. So we're talking about, okay, Blowout made the money already, and then now this private equity is planning to sell these boxes in the next, 4 to 7 years. Now, I don't have problem with companies getting involved. My problem is the hanky panky. Phil did suggest, hey, is this a conflict of interest? I don't think so. Usually I say, a lot of things are conflict of interest here. Now, if there was hanky panky going on, any fraud going on, okay, yeah, that's not good. But I don't think there is. So I'll just leave it at that. My issue, once again, is with U.S. government, right? They closed down the economy. They pumped up all this monopoly money to the system, just like with the PPP loan situation. My issue was mainly with the big government or with big government. I mean, we didn't need to do all of that, right? But that's maybe another video. Maybe with Steve, we could talk about that, when we do our live streams and we talk about crazy stuff, right? But just going through this, they have a performance, and their performance, they're just looking at, okay, the S&P, the Dow, NASDAQ, Modern Wax Fund. They're saying that 260%, like, okay, but this is up to June, okay? Didn't look at the latter half of the year. I think that's going to be pretty, it will probably hurt, in my opinion, the overall return. But let's take a look at their valuation of assets. Like, I don't like the valuation of assets, to be honest, especially with wax, because there isn't too much volume of it. I'll give you an example. So sometimes I sell some of the items through eBay, and one wax item that we just sold, I think we were just waiting on payment. I got it from a shop in the suburbs for about $30. This Panini box is a collegiate box from a couple of years ago. Few years ago, at its peak, 18 months ago, I could have gotten a few $100. And then if you wanted to buy it now, some people were buying it at like 140, 150, and we're like, hey, we need to raise some cash right now. We need to show some profit. It's a slow month, right? So we decided to sell some of that wax, or that one wax product. And we got substantially less than $150. Now, yeah, it's a collegiate product, so you're not going to get that much. But ultimately, you don't have too much volume in this market. That's what I don't like about this. So when they come up with the valuation, sure, they can do whatever they want in terms of it. I mean, they do have a systematic approach. They look at various factor. Okay, they look at eBay auctions, lowest eBay buy it now price on the last day of the quarter, lowest asking price of major online retail stores. So they tried to do it as scientific as possible. It's better than some other ways to do it, but ultimately I still have issues with low volume products like this, where you don't have enough transactions to come up with an appropriate price. I'm not a fan of saying, hey, this is an appropriate price for this item. I mean, it's illiquid. This is an illiquid market. That's just the issue out here. So I just wanted to touch base on it. I just found it quite interesting that, hey, there's actually funds involved with this. I never knew this specific fund was partnered with blowout forums or with blowout cards. And, Phil suggested, hey, look, we could look into whether you think there's hankus pankus or any issue with this collaboration. I personally don't have any issues unless there's fraud, but I don't think there's fraud, right? But I wanted to hear your thoughts on this. I mean, what are your thoughts about private equity getting in on all of this wax? I understand that the collector may be ticked off if they wanted to buy sealed product and just open it up at a certain time, and not to invest in it, just to open up that product. And now it was bought up, and then they're like, hey, look at these companies, they're doing this at XYZ. My issue, once again, it's monetary policy. The pumpers at the Federal Reserve. That's my beef, right? Anyways, wanted to hear what you have to say. Remember to smash that like button, guys. Subscribe if you haven't, and comment down below, guys. Thank you. Bye.